The Olympic Games are about to go off in Paris this summer, where the fastest men in the world will go out and prove themselves when everybody is actually watching. And in case you have been living under a rock somewhere, Noah Lyles is one of those men. So it should come as no surprise that he just dropped 9.81 seconds in the 100-meter dash, running into a slight minus headwind in case you actually care, to make it clear that he is still the man to beat coming into the Olympics. Even though that time is technically a new PR, it definitely looked like he had a whole bunch more in the tank, and he had better, because there's only one race left that he actually needs to run: the 100-meter final at the Olympics. Everything else doesn't matter anymore. But that's not what I'm here to focus on at the moment, because last week, Noah Lyles went on the Kelly Clarkson show, where they introduced him as the fastest man in the world. And he had a conversation with her about his goals for the Olympics, and they don't stop just at the 100. To be real with you, I had no plans on actually watching the video, but it was recommended to me, so eventually I clicked on it. And even after I watched it, I didn't plan on commenting either, because it sounded a whole lot like what he said to Jimmy Fallon just a few weeks ago. But about halfway through, I realized that this was not a normal interview, because he was talking to Kelly Clarkson, and in case you didn't notice, her fan base doesn't know much about track and field. So I played the whole thing back just to be clear on what was actually said, because Noah Lyles appears to be writing a whole bunch of checks right now that he's gonna have to cash in on in Paris this summer. And the thing about it is, nobody in history, not even Usain Bolt himself, has ever had a bank account that deep to be able to cash out that hard. So let's have a real conversation about Noah Lyles and the Paris Olympics, because if you did not know any better, you would think that he has absolutely no competition when he walks out there on the track. That ain't true. But what I do know to be factual is that the Olympic stage in track and field is the only time in the sport that the entire world is watching. So as far as Noah Lyles and his career legacy is concerned, this is his shot. You only get one, but he also has the largest target on his back that he painted there himself for the rest of the world to aim at. And in case you haven't been paying attention, a bunch of shots have already been fired at him before the games. When it comes to the Kelly Clarkson interview, there are really two things that I have to address, but the first is very simple. They introduced Noah Lyles as the fastest man in the world, a title that they say with their chest out, as if nobody can challenge it. Kelly Clarkson calls him that first, to which he says it's basically an everyday occurrence for him. They take it as a foregone conclusion for the remainder of the interview. It is true that Noah Lyles is the reigning world champion in the 100, the 200, and also the 4x100 meter relay. But to be clear, I'm not sure that qualifies you to use the title the fastest man in the world and do it that confidently. I know that you probably have your own thoughts about it. You can let me know in the comment section below. But to be clear, there's really only 3 ways that you get to use that title, but only 2 that people really take seriously. The first is if you break a world record in a sprinting event, the 100 or the 200. And we already know who got them records: Usain Bolt. That allows you to call yourself the fastest man in the world. But Bolt did retire. So to some degree, he retires the ability to use that title anymore. The reality is that until those records go down, it's going to be very hard to pass yourself off as the fastest man in the world, because that is how we understand the title. But beyond that, there's another way you can use it. If you win an Olympic gold medal in the 100 and the 200. Once again, that is not Noah Lyles, at least not yet. And the reason why that is a big deal is because this is not his first Olympics. He was there in 2021, and he did not win. He didn't show up in the 100 because he didn't qualify. And in the 200, he only got the bronze medal. The story as to why he wasn't in the front doesn't matter, because he was the favorite for that event. He didn't get the job done when the entire world is watching. That is what matters. So there's only one more way that Noah Lyles can justify the title as the fastest man in the world. And technically, that would be to run the fastest times in the world at that time on the calendar. In 2023, Noah Lyles ran what was the fastest times in the world at that moment in both the 100 and the 200 at the World Championship event. But granted, it ain't the Olympics, so the whole world really ain't paying attention, specifically the sports world. At that moment on the calendar, you could call him the fastest man in the world. But that was then, and this is now. In 2024, in the 100 specifically, we have seen men run times that till this point, Noah Lyles has never given us. 9.7 anything. I'm not saying that he won't win the 100 at the Olympics, but if he does, that race is likely going down to the wire because Shane Thompson has already proven that he can go 9.7 and make it look pretty easy. And Ferdinand Omanyala, for the record, ain't laying down either. Even if you don't pick him as a favorite, the man's now run 9.7 multiple times. Even though Bleek Seville had a very legitimate case to believe that he can beat Noah Lyles in Paris in the 100, because he already did it at the Races Grand Prix earlier this year. And after all that, I didn't even mention the two other Americans who are joining him in Paris to compete for the 100. Fred Kerley is the world champion from 2022, and he has run 9.7 multiple times back then. He may not be the same guy at the moment, but he's also looking like he's getting back to that guy right now. And beyond that, this is not his first Olympics. At the last one, he got the silver medal in the 100 meter dash. Remember, Noah Lyles only got bronze in the 200. Kung Fu Kenny Bednarik is the other American joining them in the 100. And no, he has not put down a PR that is faster than anything Noah has done in the 100 or the 200, but he's dangerously close now in both. So after all the names I just mentioned, he may not be a legitimate contender, but he's definitely a very real challenger. And he's not the only one on the leaderboards who's coming to Paris in the 100. I admit that Noah is hands down the favorite in the 200 because he really never loses that race, like ever. But that also puts more pressure on him to do it in the one race that he actually needs to run, which is the Olympic final. Because for whatever the reason, it did not happen in the last Olympic final. So if you're asking me how I feel about it, handing Noah Lyles the title of the world's fastest man that confidently in an interview with people who really don't know that much about track and field is incredibly misleading, and it's incredibly dangerous because it puts a target on his back that he's gonna have to outrun. But if you're new here, I wanna say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best high school track and field recruits in the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section because I try to read them all. After just hearing that portion of the interview, you would think that Noah Lyles has to be at least as fast as Usain Bolt and then some. But I also have to point out why he seems to be so overconfident in his abilities on the track, because he talked about that during the interview as well. Noah Lyles wants to be the greatest sprinter in the world, but that ambition alone doesn't make him special. Just about every successful high school sprinter, myself included, wanted to be that guy. We developed that confidence in ourselves because at the moment, we weren't losing any races to anyone. For the most part, you're gonna think you're invincible until the one day you find out that you're not. And Noah Lyles really never had that moment from then until now for his entire career. I'll explain. He has been running the kinds of times that most athletes could only dream about since he was in high school. It's the reason why he was the world junior champion in guess what event? The 100 meter dash. He almost made the Olympic team out of high school and started dominating on the Diamond League immediately thereafter. And now, he is the reigning world champion in multiple events. What I'm saying is if he sets his mind to do it, he basically goes out and does. But remember, you don't really have to go undefeated in your career in order to hold on to that confidence. You just have to win enough that the moments when you actually do lose, you can treat it as random occurrence, some type of blip on the radar screen. Basically every world championship level sprinter, I'm talking about the guys who already have medals, has a resume very similar to Noah Lyles. They all think they can be the fastest man in the world. And for the most part, they don't lose until they match up with each other. And Noah Lyles has already won some of those battles, which gives him a reason to be very confident that he's going to do it again. But it also gives them a reason to work even harder, to go out and take the crown away from him. The man who's being introduced as the fastest one in the world, as if he don't got no challengers. And remember, they still have the stage, the Olympic stage, where the world will be watching, and they're not going to know yet if Noah Lyles is really that guy. Don't get me wrong, I am pulling for Noah Lyles over in Paris this summer, and I really want to see him break world records because that is what he has on his mind. But we need to prepare to live in a world where it's possible that he doesn't win, perhaps in either event. And I'm pretty sure if things actually go that direction, we won't be able to call him the fastest man in the world anymore. But I still think it's safe to assume that he's going to win the 200, and he's going to be right up there when the 100 final is done. But that's not all Noah Lyles talked about. He also said he wants to win 4 gold medals in the Olympics. He did say it to Jimmy Fallon, but he's saying it again, and this time to Kelly Clarkson. Even if we grant Noah Lyles the 100 and the 200 gold medals outright, he'd have to get those other 2 medals from somewhere else. And we're talking about the 4x1, and he believes he's gonna run on the 4x4 at this very moment. So yes, let's talk about it. As far as the 4x1 is concerned, I'm gonna be really quick on this. America does not have a standing Olympic medal of any color since the year 2004. And the one they got in 2004 in the men's relay, that one wasn't even a gold one. They lost to Great Britain at the line. What I'm trying to say is that winning gold in the Olympic 4x1 is nowhere near as easy as Noah Lyles seems to make it seem. They talking like it's a foregone conclusion. We're just gonna go out there and grab us a medal. If that were the case, we would have done it already for the last 20 years. Of course we have the talent to win the gold medal. I totally believe that America has the fastest 4 men that anybody can put out there. The only problem is they also have to run a relay together, essentially for the first time in that specific order, and do it on the world's biggest stage, which is nowhere near as easy as it sounds. But Noah Lyles also wants to run the 4x4. I'm not making this up. He really thinks he's getting out that relay. So let's have a real conversation and dignify what he just said for a moment. The facts as I understand them are as follows. Noah Lyles has never broken the 46-second barrier in the Open 400. And he really hasn't run an Open 400 for years now. He ran on the relay at the World Indoor Championship. It's controversial whether he should have even been on it. And he split just above 46 seconds. To clarify, relay sprints are always supposed to be faster than what you do in an open anyway. So let us just assume he's a 46 flat 400 runner right now, which he hasn't proven yet. Team USA actually lost in the World Indoor 4x4 with him on that team. You could argue that his relay split, even though he made it look good, is the reason why they didn't get the gold. Because if we had swapped him out with a more competent 400 runner who runs that race competitively during the regular season, we likely would have got a gold medal. And if you were actually watching the Olympic trials, then you should have noticed we have fast men in the 400 meter dash. We even have the fastest boy ever, Quincy Wilson. He has now run 44.20 seconds, and he finished 6th at the trials. We don't even need the men who made the final at the trials to upgrade our 4x4 from Noah Lyles on any of those legs. Nathan Kent of the Naval Academy, which competes in the Patriot League, which is still technically in Division 1, ran 45.3 seconds in the semifinals at the trials. He didn't make the final, and it's still way better than anything we've ever seen that Noah Lyles can give us. The only way you could realistically put Noah Lyles on a 4x4 at the Olympic Games is you'd have to do one of 2 things. One, you'd have to give him that spot just because he's Noah Lyles, and just accept that you're sacrificing a second or 2 on what your final relay is gonna be. If you really think America is that much faster than the rest of the world, and you really want him to have another gold medal, then fine, put him on the relay. The only other way you could justify giving him a spot is you'd have to take it from somebody else who's already proven they are faster. The fact that he doesn't run open 400 meter dash races ever, not even at a low rank meet like the Tom Jones Memorial, that tells me He ain't that serious about the event. I totally understand why Noah wants to win 4 gold medals. It's an amazing feat that almost nobody has ever done. But the 4x4 at the Paris Olympics probably ain't gonna happen. Noah Lyles is box office entertainment in the sport of track and field. He's the reigning world champion in multiple events, and he's the favorite heading into Paris in the sprinting events, where everybody's gonna be paying attention. And I personally want to see him validate the title as the world's fastest man without argument. But giving him that crown right now is still incredibly premature. He's not only chasing the ghost of Usain Bolt to get that title, he also has to outrun all of the other fast men in the world, some of which have technically been even faster on the clock. Those men don't need any extra motivation to go and try and take out Noah Lyles, and interviews like the one he just did are certainly just adding fuel to the fire. We can talk about winning 4 gold medals all we want, but he's only the hands-down favorite to get one of them at the moment. So either Noah Lyles will win and become the king of the track like he already told us he was, or somebody else is going to wear the title of the world's fastest man, and they will have a legitimate claim because they got the job done when the entire world is watching, which apparently is in one race on the calendar. So here we go. The lights are about to turn on, and it is going to be time to perform, because Noah Lyles said that he was always made for the moment. The one moment where he actually needs to run fast enough to get gold. And if he doesn't, it really won't matter anything else he does between now and the next Olympics. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop, or click the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it's always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.